need to close all of your open Chrome tabs, not just from Chrome itself, just you will need to delete it from the task manager. So let's do that. All right, Google, right? Doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so now that's done. You will need to create a shortcut for your Chrome so it can display the necessary information for us. So if you go into properties here, you can see that I have a special dialog here for Chrome. Here's what it's saying. I will put this down in the description. Doesn't really matter. Alright. Now, you make a shortcut with this dialog. And what happens when you open this dialog is it gives you the instance ID for the GPU tracking you will need. Now, the second part of this, you'll need a program called renderdoc. What renderdoc does is it injects into the process so you can take any 3D model you see that your screen already renders. So let's open this as well. I'll link it down in the description as well. Now this is open. We're going to want to go to inject into process from file. And then you'll see that it needs a PID. Now we have our PID here. It's 2114. It already opens up. Alright, so since it's connected, we can now press OK and open our screen. Now, here's what we want to do. I prefer Google Earth. You can use Google Maps or any other rendering app, but I prefer this because it's more detailed and they have their own satellites. So now, where do we want to import? Let's see. Soft 3D. So I've heard that Spain has pretty nice 3D towns. Right? Here we are. Okay. So pretty detailed, right? Okay. So this is what you need to do. Since as you get closer, it gets more detailed. If you want a less detailed but larger map, you're going to have to scroll out. But what scrolling out does is it decreases the detail of the loaded models. So you can do one of two things. If you want a general area with terrain or whatever, it's fine. You can just zoom out, take the general direction. Or if you want a more detailed terrain map, you'll want to move closer. So you can get as you can see, it's updating as we speak. Now you'll want to get a more detailed terrain map. I'll show you in a second, because it may take longer, but it's better in the long run. So, all right, what should we do? I'll import one town, and then I'll import, whatever else, a terrain. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we have our, what is this? Pretty cool building. So you could use this for building references, only for positioning, because the Google Earth models are pretty choppy, but yeah, you can use these as positioning guides if you want to do a 1-1 city or whatever. Alright, now you open renderdoc with our thing in the screen. And we're going to do capture frame immediately. Make sure you put your mouse here so it actually begins. Now, what you want to do is you want to save this. As you see, I've done a few things, so we'll just open a new screen for this. Spain, right? You can just save it as an RDC. Now, an RDC file is a Google Earth import file, which means you will need, if you're using Blender, you will need a Blender add-on, which allows you to upload or download RDC files into your workplace. So I'll also link that in the description. It's fine. All right, I'll also open Blender. Okay, get rid of these. And file import. As you can see, I have a Google Maps capture option. Import a capture of Google Maps frame record and render doc. So if you go to preferences, you can see that, where is it? Or search menu. So, okay. Um, the fuck? Map model. Okay, map model is important. Yeah. So this is the file by L.E. Mitchell. I'll probably link him in the description because I'm using information based off of him plus another video. I merged it with my own method, so here we go. Alright, let's close this. RDC and downloads Spain RDC. Now this may take a while, it might freeze because it's a 70 megabyte file. So let's just wait. Okay, it's taking a bit. Pretty large, Or okay, here we are. Now, this is directly a model from where we took, right? You can see here, it's the exact model and the textures also are here, as you can see. Yeah, you can use this for whatever you want. It's a bit choppy, as you can see. There's models inside each other, but it's fine. So here's how you import urban maps. And what you typically do is, if you want to import this to Roblox for whatever reason as a mesh, uh, do not combine these for one, and for two, so you don't get a infinite scale warning. I advise you to go here and delete loose. It's going to delete a bunch of things. These may create issues, they will. And now after that, you want to select this and then press Ctrl I to select whatever else that we did not. So in this case, we don't have any objects with zero geometry, which means it should not give any warnings. Okay, so let's import this, export it first. So Spain, Steam is done. Okay, now Studio. All right, and let's create a base plane. Yeah. Okay. So we're here. Let's delete this. It's pretty fast. I was working on a pretty big map, so 50. That's not one. Okay. So what we do first is we go to 3D import and we find the file. Also, if you want the textures to already be imported, you should place when you open it in Blender, a new folder appears. This wasn't here before. It contains the textures, but you can't see because it's only looking for the text files. But this contains the textures and other information that you might need. So just have them in the same folder, and you shouldn't have any issues. Just wait. Here we are. All right. As you can see, the town itself is right here. And Actually, phew, this is pretty big. 600,000 triangles. Uh, I worked with train before, so it was around the ranges of 100 triangles per tile. So it's kind of amusing, but it shouldn't change anything, as you can see. Separate parts, different parts. But let's import this as a whole. Now, it's going to take a while, of course, obviously, because you're importing what? 100 to 200. In our case, it was 300 or 400 texture files and then mesh files. So you will need a lot of time. And since I'm using a VPN, it might take even longer. I have zero editing skills, so we'll just have to wait together. Because I can't cut. I don't know how to. No editing gaps, whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Alright, you can skip it if you want to wherever this is complete. I'll go get some water. Looks like it was a bit too fast. 60%. It's fine. Right out the way there. Okay, it's almost complete. And there you go. Now, let it load. Because wow, it's a pretty good game, and everything. You have all the roads references you want, anything you'd like, and just anchor this, and let's drop in and see how it looks. Right? It's not really that appealing, but you get the general idea. It's going to be very useful for builders, or if you want to, add gaps. No, not gaps. Add fillers for your cities, because as many of you would know, city games usually have these type of, you know, what do you call it? Block offs, and this doesn't really look good. Like an invisible wall here, but it doesn't really look good. So you could just add another street that starts to the right, and oh no, you can actually enter this. All right, that's pretty good. Now, I actually won't save this because it looks pretty good. Spain town. Okay, no, that's for one. And let me show you one of my own projects so you can see how this can also be used for terrain fillers. So if you're doing a maritime game, but if you don't, for example, have islands, but instead land masses, you can just terrain up um, any section that you're actually going to do and just place a placeholder anywhere else you want. All right. Now, uh, it's the big map I told you I was working on. Okay. So, as you can see, this is a mesh. It's a filler, but it's a huge filler, as you can see. From afar, if you're over here in Foça, for example, like you can see, that's actually Izmir, because well, because as you can see, yeah. So I imported this entire half island, and it's only around what 1,000 triangles, extremely optimized. Yeah, you can see it right here. You can, what it looks like, and I'm just in the process of importing the rest of Izmir so I can actually continue. But this is how we can do filler terrain. Okay, enough of this. Now let me actually show you how I imported the terrain with terrain information. Let's go to another base plate. Okay, delete this. We won't need this. And where can I import? The Alps look pretty cool. So let's use something from the Alps. Right? Where's this? I don't actually know. But they're actually pretty pointy, so they have a lot of information. And as I told you, you can go out and, take a snap like this, but it's not going to be very detailed, opposed to me going up there and you can see just loading everything in. Okay, let's do this range looks pretty interesting. Okay. How about we do this? Like so. Now, where's my render doc? Oh, I actually closed it, I think. You can open it again. It's fine. But we will have to close this. I'll just save this. We will have to close this again and go to Task Manager and then close this Chrome tab we have opened. Otherwise, it won't work. Right, where is it? Here you are. And bye-bye. Okay, so open this back up. It's going to give a new pin. Let me actually show you what happens if you have a Chrome tab already open. Right, it's open now. And if I click this again, it's not going to work. It's not going to give me my PID because I have Chrome tabs open. So let's go back to Task Manager and let it load. And then you see Google Form right here, and it's gone. Now let's open again, and it's going to give my PID. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to go to inject into process 355. Here you are. Okay, let's say okay, and paste this. So we go back to our location. Wait for it to load completely. Okay, so yeah, let's do this. Now, a good how do I put this? You'll know when you have picked up the most information you can from Google Earth when the files are above 100 megabytes. 8 megabytes is fine too, but 100 will get you the most information. Now, if it's somewhere around 15 or 30 megabytes, it's probably either a shoreline or it's flat terrain, so it's not going to pick up any topological data. Now, let's do Alps. Here we are. Okay. Close this. Let's go back in the Blender. Import this. Since it's a big file, it's going to take a lot more actually than Spain, but we endure. Well, while this is loading, I'll show you later. Alright, here's our Alps mountain, as you can see pretty well. Uh, Actually pretty good. Alright. I don't actually know the Alps were the screen. Also, it was just white. Anyways, so what we do is okay, so this is the second method. So we're going to need a new plugin from Roblox for this. It's called import. This screen, as you can see right here, it's not a regular object importer. It imports it as triangles. And where I got this information from is if you go to this article in the dev forum, large scale Roblox terrain. Here you are. Okay, so by Vexture, thanks to him, I can actually import this with he suggests Gaia. You can generate your own terrain, as you can see here, but we're actually going to import it from Google Earth. So the first part of the problem is solved. We got it from Google Earth. Now we're going to import it into Roblox. So what you want to do is, no, hold on. Yeah, the object plugin right here. I'll put this in the description as well. Right. The Nexus Avenger. I think it's the same person. Alright, so let's keep this open for now because I'll need this script right here for later. Now, what we will do is, okay, this is a bit tricky. You open this. Also, the texture won't save as a material, so that's unfortunate, but you'll have to do it yourself. I might actually experiment and see because object importer has this. I just select the script of the MTL code, so I'm thinking the MTL code can be used to generate terrain, but this is irrelevant because we're uploading objects as meshes, and meshes don't have material files for terrain, anyways. Alright, so I'm not talking. Let's export this as an object. Oops, export wavefront. So open your folder, go to downloads, and you will see this helps object file. Now you right click on this and you edit it in Notepad. What this is going to give us is all the node coordinates from Blender itself. Now this is a pretty big file. Here's what you'll want to do. By following instructions, we're going to add script, delete hello world, paste this into the script. And once that is done, we're going to select the script, object importer. I've seen that 300 is a pretty good, not one-to-one scale, but a pretty good scale for terrain. Alright, now let's hit continue. Continue again because we don't have an MTL file. Again, and it's going to parse the faces. I'll also link the article so it can tell you why you should choose parts over terrain. Like why we're skipping this terrain section. Actually, I'll show you here. It's because it looks like this. If you don't use part, your final import will look awful, as you can see. Okay, our processing is done, and actually you can see it being rendered right here in front of your eyes. This is obviously going to take a bit, and I should delete the base plate. Here we are. And you can watch generating. You can close this. We don't need it right now. Right. How detailed you want the terrain to be is up to how determined you are to go up close and just connect the pieces yourself. Now, I know that the person that I found render doc from, has a program for Rhino, which just automatically pieces together parts, but I don't know how to do that, so you'll have to consult his channel for that. As far as Roblox is concerned, here you are. As you can see, a pretty good, well, not pretty good right now, but I'll show you in a second. Also, make sure you don't trust this generation with your mouse because it's going to get very laggy, as you can see right here. Just don't do it. Or select it or move it. You can select your offset right here, but just don't do it. Sorry, offset's right there. Okay, so this is done. We can close this now. We don't have any use for the script. Can delete the script. Okay, now here's where the code goes into play. So we're going to copy, and we're going back to Studio, and we write in the command bar. You press enter, and this is going to slowly turn the mesh we have into a usable terrain map, as you can see. This the speed usually depends on your internet plus your CPU because this is a pretty intensive process, especially when moving so many parts. But don't move anything, don't touch anything, just let it process because it's actually working. It's not responding or anything. Just give it a second. All right, it is done. As you can see, we have imported the Alps into Roblox, like so. There are some rough markers like this, but you should smooth these out. You know, you should work on the map. This isn't final, it's just an import. And the script automatically creates terrain depending on the level, so you can actually tweak the script yourself if you know how to script a little or know values or whatever. I don't, so I'm not going to touch it. But here you are, right? Just a pretty good quality. What do you call it? Terrain. Now, this isn't very useful in places where you know there's huge USGS coverage, or Asian countries which have GIS offices, but this is pretty handy, or this became pretty handy when I was doing a Turkey project, or maybe a Greece project, but Greece has 3D, buildings, because it's using EU satellites, something like that. I don't really know. But Turkey is completely flat, except for its height map, which Google Earth creates itself with its own satellites. And this goes for places like Iran as well. You know, Tibet. The People's Republic of China, and basically anywhere. You can take anything, anywhere, and you can do it. There are simply no limits. Middle of nowhere in Africa. Ooh, boom, yeah, it's actually pretty flat. Wow, Africa's very flat. Wow. Okay. Uh, Arma, Arma's map, Altus, Stratus. Not the real names, but anyways. So that's about it. I'll see you probably never, because I don't actually upload anything.